What's up, Crypto Nation? Today, a short update on Bitcoin price. Basically, as you remember, we were looking at this consolidation area and we were expecting that it's either will go up, having higher highs, higher lows, and this was my most expected scenario, or we will make a lower low, lower than $10,300, $10,200, and then it may be a sign of the price going lower to $9,500, which in my opinion may be one of the lowest point on this correction. So what is happening right now? As you remember, there was this support line which became a resistance. Then we had this support line which was broken very recently, and this is not a good sign, guys. So although right now we still have the price above the previous low, but it's very likely right now that it will continue going lower and finally make a lower low, which would be rather bearish. However, we shall remember that the price action must look scary for bulls just before it will go to the upside. So think twice when you are about to sell or when you're about to buy, and don't forget that everything which I say is my personal opinion, not a financial advice. Speaking about the lines of the support, here is another one which is not that pretty, but still we may treat it as the support a bit stronger than the local ones, and it's actually somewhere around the same area which we are talking about. So the price may go lower, maybe a bit slower than before, and then finally hit it somewhere around here. So it will be a nice intersection of this support level and support line, and it would be reasonable to see this pullback. Another point is, if you will look at the 4 hours time frame, and I think for such a correction periods it's one of the most reasonable time frames to look at. It's not that long, it's not that short. So right now we have a bearish intersection of 20 and 50 moving averages on 4 hours time frame. Also, price just had a pullback from 100 MA over here, and maybe actually people don't really look and pay attention for these moving averages, but trading algorithms, bots, they definitely do look at such price levels, such moving averages, so it's not that surprising that this happened. And maybe actually, since on a 4 hours time frame 100 moving average is kind of important as a support, maybe we will actually not go below that. So let's continue to look at the price reaction with this moving average and treat it as an important signal for buying or selling. Another point is, if we'll compare this low over here with this low over here, and we can't really look at the latest one because the low that isn't formed yet, but these two lows, so we have a higher low. However, on RSI we have a lower low, and on stochastic oscillator also we have a lower low, and this is a hidden bullish divergence. So I wouldn't be surprised that eventually we will have the price going to the upside because of this bullish divergence. This is another thing which makes me feel a little bit more confident in our bullish scenario. Finally, I shall mention this which happened with the shorts on Bitfinex. So it dropped pretty much from 30,000 to 10,000 shorts. And you remember we were looking at the shorts, longs to shorts ratio as a factor for future projections of the price action. In fact, this doesn't really change our expectations, just because it seems like this was the single huge player closing its positions, and in reality this is the rest of the shorters. It's not that big. It's like 1/3 of the overall positions, and 2/3 were occupied by this huge whale. In fact, there are some opinions on that, saying from, for example, from Crypto Loomdart. I think he has like 90k followers on Twitter. So he said one person, a huge Bitcoin whale, just closed 220 millions of Bitcoin shorts on Bitfinex. What does he know that we don't know? Like implying that if he is closing his shorts, maybe he is expecting the price to go up. Think, a huge whale closed his shorts. We are going to the fucking moon. So, well, there is actually a reason behind it, right? And now people are thinking why this doesn't change the price, because as soon as the short order is closed, it operates like a buying order, right? So we'd expect the price going up because like huge short position is closed. So it's basically in a way a buy order, right? So Richard Hart made a clear explanation on that. He, like this whale, had a position open for 20,000 Bitcoin short, he would lose $20,000 for every dollar Bitcoin went up. Again, expecting from this whale, thinking that the Bitcoin price will go higher. So he closes this position without moving the price by claiming his short position with his BTC in his account. No need to buy yours to close. So basically you need to have a position already and have enough Bitcoins on your account which are not related to this position, and then in principle, yes, you can buy your shorts, buy your own short, so it will not change the price, or is it called claiming. So I think it's pretty clear that this may happen, but indeed the fact that huge players do close their positions, short positions, means something in terms of the price projections, price expectations. Now I must say that there is one common misconception about the whales. So people often say that, okay, whales did accumulate at this area like $3,000, $4,000. Now they had 3x profit, so they probably will close their positions or partially close their positions. Guys, the point is that when you have a lot of money, like hundreds million dollars or maybe billions of dollars, then it's really hard to get a position accumulating it over a short period of time. What they have to do, they have to wait, they have to be very patient, accumulate for a very long, and they can't really buy, because if they will do, it will move the market too fast to the upside and their average entry price will be lower. So they have to accumulate as much as possible on the position at the point of the market when the liquidity is high. Like for example in 2017, 16, every time we had the correction to the downside, that was pretty much the chance for whales add more to their positions, and I guess they were doing that all the way to the upside, except maybe the very parabolic part of this cycle. And then as soon as it was more or less clear that the price is about to have a long and deep corrections, they started to unload their positions, went to fiat again every time when the price had a pullback to the upside, so they had bigger liquidity and they closed their longs. So pretty much the same is happening right here. I think they even loaded at the $6,000 area, and they were loaded of course here and on all the way to the upside around this region. So the point is, the average entry for their positions is not like 3-4, it's much higher. I think it's just my personal opinion, of course, not a financial advice, guys. Everything which I said is like that, but I believe that they were buying on the wide range of the price, and maybe, just maybe, they are even actually continuing to buy on such corrections again. So I don't really think that it's a huge enough range for them to have more or less reasonable profit on their huge positions. So I think we need to move much faster, much higher, not only to make this delta bigger, but also have much bigger liquidity, maybe even bigger than here. So when we're saying that, okay, there is a dump because whales are unloading their longs, well, it's just the point that some of the smaller players, maybe like middle players, are doing that, or the whales themselves, they try to manipulate the market in order to buy on the panic. Yes, this is very possible, but it doesn't mean that they are like closing it completely, because it would mean that the biggest players out there are basically playing short, basically expecting that the price will go much lower and then will go below $30,000. It's probably not happening. At least there are so many factors, so many signs that we're far from such a case. Okay guys, now that is it for today, and I hope that was useful. Thank you for watching.